You ever have one of those mornings where you step outside, coffee in hand, and immediately wonder if you're the main character in someone else's disaster story? Because that was me, barefoot, barely awake, standing on my own front porch, staring at a chaotic pileup of 5 oversized SUVs wedged into my driveway like someone was trying to win a medal in suburban Tetris. I mean, one of them was parked sideways, trapping in my old truck, and taped to my mailbox was this sad little cardboard sign that read, HOA Event Overflow Parking. Written in Sharpie. Classy, right? For a second, I thought maybe I'd gotten the wrong address. But then I spotted Karen, the HOA president, walkie-talkie in hand, directing people like she was handling an airport runway instead of a quiet neighborhood. I rushed over, nearly spilling my coffee, and demanded to know why my driveway had turned into the local event lot. Karen just gave me this bland smile and said, "We assumed you'd be fine with it. Be neighborly." Honestly, I almost choked on my own coffee. That was when I knew. This wasn't some miscommunication. This was a full-blown neighborhood invasion, and it was only getting started. See, all this kicked off barely 2 months after I'd finished renovating my house. A modest fixer-upper on the corner, with a driveway just a little wider than everyone else's. Maybe that was my mistake. I wasn't a social butterfly, had no interest in HOA potlucks or bake sales, but I paid my dues and minded my own business. Apparently, that just painted a target on my back. The HOA had rolled out this whole community spirit campaign. Wine tastings, bake sales, yoga on the lawn, movie nights. Looked good in the newsletter, but nobody ever asked me if I wanted my driveway to turn into a parking lot every Saturday. At first, I tried the polite route, sent an email, left a voicemail. Got nothing back. Next event, the crowd tripled. I found a toddler drawing on my garage with chalk while her parents unpacked a cooler on my front lawn like they were setting up camp. When I confronted them, the dad just shrugged, said Karen said it was fine. So, again, I asked Karen, and she told me, "Oh, I sent an email to the HOA list. Your silence was taken as agreement." I never got an email. She just raised an eyebrow. Sounds like a personal tech issue. Classic Karen. I tried orange cones at the end of my drive. They vanished. My Ring camera caught a teenager moving them aside. Then Karen walking by 5 minutes later like she didn't see a thing. Next, I put up a private property, no parking sign. Someone drew a smiley face on it and wrote, "Busel." Don't ask, I still don't know what that means. And then, a pickup scraped my paver, left a nasty gouge. When I tried calling a tow company, they said they'd gotten a warning from the HOA about false calls during events, so, no help there. By the 4th event, it was personal. I stopped going out, sat in my window like some cranky detective, making notes every time someone stepped on my grass, let their dog do their business on my bushes, or spilled wine down my path. One lady even took a phone call sitting on my porch swing. The sheer nerve of these people. You had to laugh, or you'd cry. Then came the thunderstorm. Power went out in half the neighborhood. I work from home, and I needed to get to a data hub across town. But, again, 3 cars blocking me in, owners nowhere to be found, and the electric company couldn't reach the emergency meter because of the way people had parked. That night, sitting on my porch, rain soaking through my clothes, staring at tire tracks in the mud, I snapped. No more polite emails. No more asking nicely. You know how sometimes, when you're pushed too far, you just flip a switch? Well, my switch comes with blueprints. My day job is mechanical systems design. I've done automated gates, smart security systems, you name it. I grabbed a notebook and started sketching. Retractable driveway gate, parking spikes like you see in parking garages, but smarter, solar-powered, timed activation, camera with plate recognition, even a speaker system to shout warnings. I wasn't building a fortress, but if the HOA didn't respect paperwork, maybe they'd respect 3 inches of steel. Ordered all the parts, had some driveway work done for cover. Karen passed by, sipping a green smoothie, trying to sound supportive. Looks like someone's finally upgrading. Good for you. You know that tone, syrup sweet, hiding a threat. I just smiled and told her, wait until you see the big reveal. By the weekend, I had everything ready. Sensors, cameras, battery backup, and a 2-way speaker connected to my phone. My buddy called me a Bond villain. I called it deterrence. The real test was coming. The next HOA event was a wine tasting, and everyone knew my place was the overflow lot. Saturday afternoon, I poured myself a soda, opened the porch umbrella, and waited. First up, a silver Lexus SUV, woman in big sunglasses, flyer in hand. She edged onto the driveway. The LED lights flared red. The speaker boomed my digitized warning. You are entering private property. Please reverse immediately or your vehicle will be immobilized. She froze, reversed, shouted, "Is this really necessary?" I just grinned. Absolutely. She left without another word. 5 minutes later, here came Karen, 2 cars trailing. She pointed at my house, but the cars hesitated. My system lit up, the speakers did their thing, and I jumped on a live mode. You have 3 seconds to leave my property. You should have seen their faces. Karen rolled up, seething. You can't just install booby traps. I waved my city permit in her face, fully legal, all documented. Her jaw clenched. We'll be reviewing this with the board. I just said, tell your guests to use the actual street. That night, not a single tire touched my driveway. Guests circled, looking for parking like vultures at a buffet, some walking blocks with wine bottles clutched to their chests. I sat back, finally enjoying a quiet evening, first in weeks. What I didn't realize was that someone across the street filmed the whole standoff, spikes rising, Karen's meltdown, and my calm. Want to see the documents? Next thing I knew, it was blowing up online, a local watch group, then Reddit, then HOA drama pages. People called me a genius, wanted to buy the system, even offered to send me a drone. The best part? Karen's humiliation was now internet famous. All I'd done was defend my property. The crowd did the rest. HOA fired off a hilariously vague email, warning about intimidating mechanisms, asking for mutual goodwill. Sure, but 2 neighbors stopped by that day just to shake my hand, whispering stories about their own run-ins with Karen. Suddenly, nobody parked in my driveway. Even delivery guys walked an extra block to avoid it. It was like I'd drawn an invisible line. But, Karen wasn't going down without a fight. She showed up one evening, clipboard in hand, smile stretched tight as a drum. Gave me a speech about community aesthetics and how my spikes created an atmosphere of aggression. I let her finish, then offered her all my permits. She just said, "You'll be hearing from the board." And she meant it. 2 nights later, they tried to grill me at a meeting, but I brought everything: city permits, footage of trespassing, even a letter from the zoning commissioner. Their own lawyer shut it down, said if they kept pushing, the HOA would be liable for trespass. Karen looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. 3 people thanked me on the way out. Someone even whispered, "Do you do consulting?" Then it all exploded. News picked it up. Local TV ran a piece about the engineer who turned his driveway into a no-parking fortress. Karen's face blurred, mine front and center. I'd become a symbol, by accident, of pushing back against HOA overreach. And, honestly, I just wanted my driveway back. But something in the neighborhood had shifted. More people started telling their stories. Petty fines, warnings for Christmas lights, family visits. Turns out, Karen wasn't just disliked, she was actively resented. A petition started to call for new elections, quietly, but the message was clear. Sitting on my porch as the sun dipped, I felt something I hadn't in ages: peace, and maybe a bit of pride. It wasn't just about my driveway. It was about finally drawing a line, steel and concrete, but also moral. All it took was one person saying, "Enough," and suddenly, the whole neighborhood woke up. But you know how these stories go, right? Peace is just the calm before the next storm. Karen sent me a certified letter claiming my system violated community harmony aesthetics, which could mean anything from a garden gnome to a medieval catapult. I had to laugh, especially since the night before, my story had made it to a national HOA horror stories segment. People were making memes, editing together clips of Karen screeching while the spikes hissed, calling it Attack of the Driveway. The letter even threatened a $250 fine, which, according to our own HOA rules, was about as valid as monopoly money. So let me ask you, where's the line between defending your home and disturbing community harmony? Who decides what's too far when you're just protecting your own peace? Have you ever had to draw your own line and stand behind it, no matter who tried to push back? Drop your story in the comments. Let's talk about where real community begins and ends.